Hello, so I've recently been given a Superhub 3. This is my old Superhub 2. I had a load of problems with this. Wi-Fi problems, ended up buying a replacement Asus router. You can see I had 4 ports on the back as well as a little power switch, and it was black with lights on the front. The Superhub 3 takes quite a different style approach. It's white with no visible lights on the front. You can see there are a couple of hidden lights though. Lots of grills around the side, does get quite hot. And a little pull-out section for your Wi-Fi password, which is quite a nice little touch because I'm always forgetting the default one. The style of this is quite nice looking, nice plain white. It's actually quite wide though, you can see it kind of sticks out either side. And if we flip around the back, you've got a couple of telephone plugs which aren't in use at the moment. You just stand this side by side next to the two. So you've got a couple of the plug sockets not in use at the moment, but you still have the 4 ports for your Ethernet, and then the cable wire at the bottom, and then the power at the bottom as well. So it's fairly similar. So these 2 ports, there is something in the works, but I don't know what it is. You'll be able to plug your telephone in and presume that will be telephone over cable rather than via having a separate line, as I do at the moment. And so the style of it is fairly inoffensive, looks okay. As I say, my old router, I had quite a few problems, so I'll be quite interested to see if this one is any better than the Superhub 2. So once you've logged in, this is the main menu. You've got a quick setup to configure your network. You've got network diagnostics tools just to help you try and find out if there's any problems, and you can also set up a guest network. So if we just scroll down, you can see we've got the 2.4 and 5 gig network up and running. WPS enabled, internet's online, and it currently says error for tel 1, tel 2. I'm guessing that's because this service isn't actually active yet. Whatever they've got planned for the future involves those sockets. And then I've got multiple devices connected to this, so I just entered the username and password. I didn't use any other method to connect. So if we go into diagnostic tools, and this is quite typical actually of the Superhub. It's a little bit slow, the 3. If we hit click me. So what this will do is it'll run some checks and hopefully help you find the source of a particular problem you might be having. So I'm not actually suffering from any problems, so I'm not expecting it to report anything. You see it's 100% done, diagnostic results, error, but that's okay because it's not actually active. You see the Wi-Fi signal strength, and I've actually not got a guest network, that's disabled. So if I was saying, oh, guest network, there's a problem, it's because it's disabled and it's shown up. Pretty simple, but should be quite effective if I do run into a basic problem. I have to say, compared to the Asus router I've been using, this is really slow. The interface is really poor in comparison. It's very sluggish. I've had to have problems logging in a few times. While the actual internet connection has been fine, and this is a big step up from my Superhub 2. Now there we go, it has died. Brilliant. Okay, so that just took me about five minutes to get back on. It just wouldn't connect or load up at all. It's a very poor interface, I have to say. Although it looks nice and clean, the amount of times it disconnects is ridiculous. So the good thing about the Hub 3, it's not that super, is you can still enable modem mode, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. I do have a really good Asus router, but I don't always like the clutter. I was kind of hoping just to have one device rather than have to have 2. Advanced settings is, well, they say it's advanced settings. I mean, there's not a massive amount of additional features, but you can do things like tweak the signal. And this is important actually, this wireless mode, when I got it, I think it was just set to G and N mixed. And that meant that quite a few things I have, such as the Nest thermostat, wouldn't work. I had to set it to BGN. You can disable various networks if you don't want. Just under security, here we go. So if this video seems a little choppy, it's because it's taken me probably 5 times the amount of time it should take, just because the interface is so slow, so laggy. There we go, finally loads up. So we've got the name, you can change the name, you've got password, it enforces a certain length password, which is nice to see, and you've got some Mac filtering down the bottom if you want to do, and you can add devices. What else we got? Guest networks you can set up. That was actually quite quick. So we can activate a guest network if we want, and WPS even. So we've got WPS. Let's see what happens if we hit disable and say apply change. Oh look. So you can try and apply some changes, and Superhub 3 just ignores you, which is nice to see. Okay, security. So we've got a firewall. Very basic firewall settings, Mac filtering. So port filtering, port forwarding. Good to see port forwarding, so you can manually enter your own ports if you want. And same with port triggering. Yep. So I'm flicking through these quite quickly, just so you can get a feel for what kind of menus are available, what kind of features and functions. As I say, the great thing about this is that if you don't like this, if you're sick of the waiting, if you want something with a bit more functionality, you can still put the Hub 3 into modem mode. Yep, another crash, another very long wait. Let's say wait again, see if that loads it up like it did last time. You see there's a real problem here. It's just a very poor interface, very laggy. I don't know why it's so terrible. So you've got a DHCP server and all the various addresses. You can add rules and things like that. Just basic enabled, disabled, UPnP, and tools. We've got network status, ping, traceroute. Most people won't ever need to use these. These are of course useful if you're running diagnostics, or maybe the Virgin offshore call center might ask you to do this if you can never log in or get anywhere, because you just see page loading quite a lot. There we go. And finally, you can change password, remote access, things like that.